Welcome back to My Book of Mormon with me, David Michael. This is episode 51. And I think this might be the first time that we have episode 51 and we're starting with Alma chapter 51. How exciting. 50 ended with chapter 50, 51 starting with 51. I don't know why I think that's cool, but what are you going to do? Doesn't take much to make me happy, apparently. Anyway, so yeah, I actually recorded and edited and released the entire episode 50 yesterday. That all happened. I did all of that. And so, it's only been a day since I released it, because, as you guys know, I'm headed off to Skepticon this weekend, leaving tomorrow morning with Tom and Cecil from Cognitive Dissonance, so I decided I would have to record this now. And then somehow find some time this weekend to edit it and get it released. We'll figure that out. I mean, we are taking quite a drive, so anyway, we'll see. Might come out late Sunday night if I end up not being able to release it until after I'm back from Skepticon. Anyway. Okay, so since it's only been a day, not too shocked that we don't have anyone to thank, you know what I mean? We had quite a few last episode, and so this one, no new, contributors since yesterday, so that's not the end of the world, that's fine. But one thing I do want to thank people for, I haven't said this in a while, thanks to everybody that's rated the show on iTunes. There's a ton out there, and I'm not aware of another show that's only been out 6 months that has as many iTunes reviews as this one does. And I'm sure some exist. I just haven't come across them. And so, seriously, that's just proof that the Mimos are the best fans out there, because nobody else has as many. Seriously, go try and find some. It's hard to find a show that's out 6 months that has that many iTunes reviews. But there's not a ton on Stitcher. Just saying, for all of you Stitcher listeners, there's a handful. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, I can't figure out how to rate the show on Stitcher. I know, the Stitcher app makes it almost impossible to rate the show on the app. However, if you go to mybookofmormonpodcast.com, you will see a link to the the website, and it has the show on there. Crazy easy to leave a review there. It's so simple. You just click that link, leave a review, done. No, pretty easy. So forget the app. Just do it on the website. Anyway, whatever. You don't have to. I just want to say thank you for those that have, because it helps the show a lot. And once again, I just think that you guys are the best fans, because, you have taken the time out of your day, everyone that has, and there's a lot of you that have, so thank you. That's legit. See, I thought I had no thank yous, but I've been meaning to thank you guys for that for a while, because, it's good stuff. Okay, so, because there's nothing else to say, it's only been a day, I'm just gonna jump right in. Alma 51. Very exciting. And, actually, first, I do want to thank, Bishop Scott Gines and Real Mimo Duke of Earl Grey, because they kind of helped me out a little bit with the pronunciations. And so we now know, unfortunately, the man's name isn't Teancum. However, the way it is pronounced, I actually think is funnier. So I won't spoil it for anybody. Next time I see that name, we're gonna have some fun. And then the same thing with what I call him, Pahoran. Yeah, apparently it's a lot funnier than that. My pronunciation is not as funny as the real pronunciation, believe it or not. So I'm excited. I hope these names come up in this chapter, because they were at the end of the last chapter, so hopefully they'll carry over into this one. Anyway, we'll see. All right, 51. And just because everyone's always concerned about this, I'm not drinking. Sorry, not drinking this time. I'm just not. Can't do it every time. So feel free to drink along or play along at home to the drinking game. I know lots of you like to, but this time you'll be doing it without me. But that's fine. Once again, do you have any other excuse that you can use for just sitting at home getting drunk by yourself? I don't think so. If you did it not listening to the show, then you have a problem. But if you drink alone and get drunk listening to the show, well, that's a pretty good excuse. I think you're all right. I don't think you have a problem. You're just playing a game. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Chapter 51 of Alma. And now it came to pass, drink, in the commencement of 25th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. I really wish they had a way of abbreviating that. 25th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. That phrase, my God, could you imagine if we had to do a shot every time we heard year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi? We'd all be dead. Anyway, okay. They having established peace between the people of Lehi and the people of Morianton concerning their lands, and having commenced the 25th year in peace. Oh yeah, there was that really bizarre little city-to-city skirmish that was weird. Anyway, Morianton, the guy Morianton from Morianton, he got killed in the whole affair. But I guess there's peace now. So there you go. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and Morianton was sadly the egg that had to be broken for that peace. Okay. Nevertheless, they did not long maintain an entire peace in the land. No. For there began to be a contention among the people concerning the chief judge, Oh, here it is. I was about to say Paharan, but it's not. The man's name is Pahoran. There's actually the word whore in the middle of it. How exciting. Pahoran. All right. So the chief judge, Pahoran. I'm going to love this guy. Oh, what a great name. I can't believe I didn't notice that there was whore in the middle. Yeah, Paharan. That's not nearly as fun as Pahoran. All right. Okay. So they don't like him, apparently. There's contention among the people concerning this guy. Yeah. For behold, there was part of the people who desired that a few particular points of the law should be altered. Okay. But behold, Pahoran would not alter nor suffer the law to be altered. Therefore, he did not hearken to those who had sent in their voices with their petitions concerning the altering of the law. And these petitions are coming in, and he's just putting his fingers in his ear going, la, 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 can't hear you. Yeah. So Pahoran, not having any of it. The law stands. Okay. Therefore, those who were desirous that the law should be altered were angry with him and desired that he should no longer be chief judge over the land. Therefore, there arose a warm dispute. There it is again. When did this start? Warm dispute. Concerning the matter, but not unto bloodshed. Okay, so this one is a bit of a warm dispute. Sounds like a bit of a heated argument. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe a little slapping, because there's no bloodshed. You know, just a little slap here and there. Yeah. And it came to pass, drink, that those who were desirous that Pahoran should be dethroned from the judgment seat were called kingmen. They were called kingmen? Okay. For they were desirous that the law should be altered in a manner to overthrow the free government and to establish a king over the land. Yeah, I don't know that that's like altering the law, right? As much as it's like completely throwing it out. Wow. So they want a total overhaul of government. And this has never happened before, has it? Where we had some people wanted a king because they were tired of these judges. Yeah. So once again, here we go. And again, remember, they were all following God's law. We heard that. That's why the peace came about. It's very clear. All these Nephites, they were doing everything right by God. And so God let them prosper in the land and have peace. And it was wonderful. And then we had that dispute with those two cities fighting. And I was like, well, what'd they do wrong? They must have done something wrong because God wouldn't let this happen if they were still good. But we never found out. And here, you know, we got ourselves a little skirmish about to start again. I imagine this is going to go. There will be bloodshed. I mean, come on. We know it's happening. But, it hasn't said what they did wrong. Yeah. I was kind of expecting and then they resorted to whoredoms. But I guess maybe you have a judge who's whore in his name. So maybe that's maybe God's mad about that. Anyway, okay. It's just funny, right? That if there's peace, they're always like, and it's because we're following God's law. Yay. But if there's war, they're like, yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't it just naturally assume that you must be doing something ungodly for there to be war? Anyway, okay. And those who were desirous that Pahoran should remain chief judge of the land took upon them the name of freemen. What? So there's kingmen and freemen. This is creative. I love that too. Yeah. If you're being ruled by theocratic judges, you're free. Great. I don't think that's free. And thus was the division among them. For the free men had sworn or covenanted to maintain their rights and the privileges of their religion by a free government. This is not a free government by any stretch of the imagination. First of all, if you remember Pahoran, and I'm sorry, I just get excited about saying his name, and I'm going to continue to say it that way. If it annoys you, sorry, because I like it. Anyway, but remember, he wasn't voted in, right? This wasn't the will of the people. His dad died, and he acquired the seat of judge. That's kind of a monarchy, right? I mean, it's more than one king. They just call themselves judges, but it's hereditary. So I don't know how they think this is some free government. You know what I mean? And they also clearly are following this religious law, and we have had examples. We've had examples of people that didn't follow it and were killed, right? I mean, just outright killed. I think it was Alma, wasn't it? He just brought all those people down, and those that, refused to convert or something, death, right? Free government. Yeah, super free. That's great. Now, they are right to say the privileges of their religion. Now, that's true. They didn't say that this is freedom of religion. They said, no, there is a privileged class, and it's the people that follow this religion. But I'm sorry, you're only in a free government if you happen to be in that religion. Otherwise, this is not free. At all. All right. I'm taking forever. I'm not even drinking, I'm babbling. Anyway, okay, here we go. And it came to pass, drink, that this manner of the contention was settled by the voice of the people. Oh, not a war? Well, that's a shocker. And it came to pass, drink again, that the voice of the people came in favor of the freemen. And Pahoran retained the judgment seat, which caused much rejoicing among the brethren of Pahoran, and also many of the people of liberty, who also put the kingmen to silence, that they durst not oppose, but were obliged to maintain the cause of freedom. Interesting. I don't know how they put them to silence. Interesting. Now those who were in favor of kings were those of high birth, and they sought to be kings, and they were supported by those who sought power and authority over the people. Okay. So it was kind of the upper class wanted kings, I guess. I suppose that's what that meant. But behold, this was a critical time for such contentions to be among the people of Nephi, for behold, Amalekiah had again stirred up the hearts and people of the Lamanites against the people of the Nephites. Well, maybe this time you'll learn how to lay siege to his city, you morons. Anyway, and he was gathering together soldiers from all parts of his land and arming them and preparing for war with all diligence, for he had sworn to drink the blood of Moroni. Yeah, let's not forget that. He's got to drink Moroni's blood. Moroni should just take a pint of blood out and just send it to him and be like, here you go, dude. Drink it. I really don't care. Can you leave us alone now? You know what I mean? You can keep your oath. There's my blood. All right. That probably wasn't as funny as it. It sounded funny in my head, and then I said it, and it's like, that didn't really work, did it? Oh, well. I don't edit that stuff out. I don't. I just leave. Do you guys know that I only ever do one take? Do you know that? I was talking to somebody once, and they're like, no, that's not possible. I swear. I never do 2 takes of this show, even a part of it. I'm never even like, oh, I read that chapter didn't really go well. I'll start over. Because what you hear is the first time I'm reading it, every word. So yeah, sometimes I have jokes that miss, but I'm like, oh well, I gotta stay in. What are you gonna do? Okay, so let's see here. Drinking blood. Next up is, but behold, we shall see that his promise which he made was rash. Nevertheless, he did prepare himself and his armies to come to battle against the Nephites. Now his armies were not so great as they had hitherto been, because of the many thousands who had been slain by the hand of the Nephites. But notwithstanding their great loss, Amalekiah had gathered together a wonderfully great army. A wonderfully great army, I'll tell you. Insomuch that he feared not to come down to the land of Zarahemla. I'm telling you, he got himself a wonderful army. That is great. Yea, drink. Even Amalekiah did himself come down, at the head of the Lamanites. All right. The king said, I sent some generals down there. They were incredibly ineffective, and I'm taking matters in my own hand. All right, Amalekiah, let's see what you're made of. And it was in the 25th year of the reign of the judges, and it was, at least I didn't say of the people of Nephi that time. Anyway. And it was at the same time that they had begun to settle the affairs of the contentions among the chief judge Pahoran. All right, so sounds like they're still kind of silencing the kingmen and all that stuff, and the Lamanites are on their way. Someone's knocking at the back door. And it came to pass, drink, that when the men who were called kingmen had heard that the Lamanites were coming down to battle against them, they were glad in their hearts. Why? And they refused to take up arms, for they were so wroth with the chief judge, and also with the people of liberty, that they would not take up arms to defend their country. I'm not buying it. That doesn't make any sense. So if we're to believe this story, the Lamanites have every intent to come down there and enslave everyone, right? That is their plan. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to come down and be like, oh, you're not fighting us? Okay, never mind. Yeah, you can be one of us. It's not, if we're to believe the story, the Lamanites want to come and kill everyone or enslave them. That's it. So I love these guys are like, well, we disagree with our current political system, so we're not going to fight. It's like, that's stupid, and I don't think it would have happened that way. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I guarantee if the U.S. was attacked, like straight up, China just comes and attacks us. Sorry, China, I'm just using you as an example. I know you're not going to do that. Well, hopefully not. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Republicans and Democrats would set their differences aside. You know what I mean? Like, suddenly that wouldn't be a concern. And I'm pretty sure that that's what would happen here. When an invading country comes into your country, you're not worried about whether or not you agree with the current president. You know what I mean? You just fight him. But anyway, apparently these guys, they're not having any of it. And it came to pass, drink, that when Moroni saw this, and also saw the Lamanites were coming into the borders of the land, he was exceedingly wroth because of the stubbornness of the people whom he had labored with so much diligence to preserve. Yea, drink, he was exceedingly wroth. His soul was filled with anger against them. All right, Moroni, now calm down. Don't lose your temper. I'm just saying. We can solve this. And just calm down a little. And it came to pass, drink, that he sent a petition with the voice of the people unto the governor of the land, desiring that he should read it, and give him, Moroni, power to compel those dissenters to defend their country and to put them to death. There we go. There we go, everybody. Freedom, liberty. Right? Agree with us or I will kill you. Isn't liberty and freedom great? This is wonderful. Yeah. So you're either going to compel them to fight or they're going to be executed. Doesn't freedom taste great? Anyway, I know I'm hammering that point home, but I'm sorry. They just keep giving me examples of how unfree it is. For it was his first care to put an end to such contentions and dissensions among his people. For behold, there had been hitherto a cause of all their destruction, and it came to pass, drink, that it was granted according to the voice of the people. That makes it okay. Because the majority of the people want to kill the minority that disagree with them, that makes it okay. The voice of the people. Sure. Yeah, that's how freedom works, right? As long as the majority want to subjugate or kill a minority group, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that, right? Yeah, pretty sure that's how freedom works. No. And it came to pass, drink, that Moroni commanded that his army should go against those kingmen, to pull down their pride and their nobility and level them with the earth, or they should take up arms and support the cause of liberty. This is so ridiculous. In the same sentence, he's saying, let's have the government go in and take everything away from our upper class, right? Let's go in and pull them down. I assume that means, like, take their stuff, right? Tear down their houses, whatever. Make them poor, and then compel them to fight to the death or die. This is, and then support the cause of liberty is how they finish that sentence. That is fantastic. Listen, whether it was Joseph Smith who wrote this or Mormon who wrote this, I don't really care who wrote this. The point is, they don't understand, whoever it is does not understand what the word liberty means at all. Right? Like, not even by a long shot. All right. And then it came to pass, drink, that the armies did march forth against them, and they did pull down their pride and their nobility, insomuch that as they did lift their weapons of war to fight against the men of Moroni, they were hewn down and leveled to the earth. Okay, so I guess I was a bit wrong. They didn't just come in to take all their stuff. They actually came and killed them. Yeah, I assume that what hewn down means they chopped them up. So there's some liberty in action right there. And then it came to pass, drink, that there were 4,000 of those dissenters who were hewn down by the sword. My God. And those of their leaders who were not slain in battle were taken and cast into prison, for there was no time for their trials at this period. Even better. Let's imprison people with no trial. I love liberty. Oh, this is great. Okay, and let's just bear in mind here. They just killed 4,000 of their own people. Okay? 4,000 other people. In the last chapter, it was a big deal when 1,000 Lamanites were killed, right? 1,000 died in that one battle. Remember when they, like, attacked the one entrance to the city like morons? 1,000 died and 50 were wounded because their armor sucked. Anyway, now they've just killed 4,000 of their own because they were political dissenters. This is fantastic. I just love freedom. And the remainder of those dissenters, rather than being smitten down to the earth by the sword, yielded to the standard of liberty. Yielded to the standard of liberty. I'm sorry I keep joking about this, but it's so absurd. And they were compelled to hoist the title of liberty upon their towers and in their cities, and to take up arms in defense of their country. Oh, wait a minute. That standard of liberty, isn't that pole with like a ripped robe at the end of it with some words on it? Isn't that what that is? I think that's what that is. That's like, okay, that's their flag, right? You just rip a piece of your clothes and write some crap on it and, oops, almost said a bad word. I stopped myself, said crap. But anyway, and yeah, tie it to a pole and stick it up there. Woohoo! Nothing like that's some pride right there. And thus Moroni put an end to those kingmen. Yeah, he did put an end to them. That they were not any known by the application of kingmen. And thus he put an end to the stubbornness and pride of those people who professed the blood of nobility. They were brought down to humble themselves like unto their brethren, and to fight valiantly for the freedom from bondage. The freedom from bondage. Since if they don't fight, he'll either kill them or put them in bondage. Yeah, he really gave them quite the choice there. Behold, it came to pass, drink, that while Moroni was thus breaking down the wars and contentions among his own people, and subjugating them to peace and civilization, and making regulations to prepare for war against the Lamanites, behold, the Lamanites had come into the land of Moroni, which was by the borders, by the seashore. All right, see? All Moroni had to do was say, like, okay, there's some people that are refusing to fight. Fair enough. Leave them alone. We'll get to that later, right? And let's go fight the real enemy. Nope. He decided he had to go kill 4,000 of his own people. Yeah, for not believing what he believed or whatever, or for not, like, agreeing with his government, basically. So now, since he was busy doing that, Lamanites are now in town. They made it in, untouched. Way to go, Moroni. And I thought, I used to think Moroni was like a really good battle planner. This time, he dropped the ball pretty severely. Yeah. And it came to pass, drink, and the Nephites were not sufficiently strong in the city of Moroni. Therefore, Amalekah did drive them, slaying many. Backfire, Moroni. See? That's what happens when you forget what freedom and liberty is and start killing your own people. The enemy just comes in and takes the city. There you go. Okay, we said that. And it came to pass, drink, then Amalekah took possession of the city. Yea, drink, possession of all their fortifications. All right. I mean, they didn't even have to lay siege. They just walked in. And I'll tell you, that's quite the insult. Not only did they come in, they took the city named Moroni. You know what I mean? It's like, that's sticking it to them, isn't it? Like, you didn't just go take any city. You took the city that was named after their general. That's a pretty smooth move there, Lamanites. I'll give you that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. And those who fled out of the city Moroni came to the city Nephihah, and also the people of the city Lehi gathered themselves together and made preparations and were ready to receive the Lamanites to battle. All right. So some people ran to Nephihah, but the people of Lehi are like, bring it on. We're ready for you. But it came to pass, drink, that Amalickiah would not suffer the Lamanites go against the city of Nephihah to battle. He kept them down by the seashore, leaving men in every city to maintain and defend it. Okay. Well, I don't understand that. Leaving men in every city. Did he take more than one city? I'm not sure. Anyway, I thought like Moroni was a city. Maybe it's more like a landmass and there's cities within it. I'm not sure. Either way, the Lamanites own it now because Amalickiah took it while Moroni was too busy killing his own people. So there you go. And thus he went on taking possession of many cities. The city of Nephihah. What? It just said that he wasn't going to attack the city of Nephihah. Apparently changed his mind and it worked. So Amalickiah, quite the campaign he's on. Tell ya, you should have come down for the first campaign because your generals did not do as well as you're doing. All right. So he took the city of Nephihah, the city of Lehi, and the city of Morianton, and the city of Omner, and the city of Gid, and the city of Mulek. Wow. All of which were on the east borders by the seashore. Well, I just think we owe Amalickiah a round of applause. That is fantastic. I mean, wow. You great battle strategy. We don't know what it was. I'm not sure how he did it. Maybe he figured out how to lay siege, or maybe he just, who knows? Because in the last chapter, I guess 2 chapters ago, these cities were well defended, right? I mean, they couldn't even shoot an arrow over these walls. And now he's just walking in, kicking ass and taking names. And, I'll tell you, well done, sir. That's all I have to say. And thus had the Lamanites obtained by the cunning of Amalickiah. How was he cunning? I don't know if he's cunning. He just was good at battle. What are you going to do? Okay, so he had obtained so many cities by their numberless hosts, all of which were strongly fortified after the manner of the fortifications of Moroni, all of which afforded strongholds for the Lamanites. Doesn't say how they did it. So they still said these cities were strongly fortified, but yet the Lamanites just walked in unscathed. Not sure what happened. And it came to pass, drink, that they marched to the borders of the land bountiful. They're not done yet, driving the Nephites before them and slaying them. Man, this is a bloody campaign. I'm telling you. And again, usually we hear some story about how the Nephites got evil, right? They did something bad, and then they get kind of, God punishes them in some way, But now we just heard about how great they were. And now the Lamanites are just coming in, killing everybody. So I don't know. Where's God? He should be like, oh, wait a minute. These are the people that are following me and obeying my law. I should probably help them because I'm fairly certain. I think it was the last chapter. Anyway, several times it said God will, defeat your enemies, or he'll at least tell you when to flee, right? Didn't it say that? God will know when you should flee and when you should fight. And it sounds like he's not doing either. God's taking a nap because these Nephites are just getting slaughtered. What are you going to do? But it came to pass, drink, that they were met by Oh, here's the next one. Okay, remember I was calling this guy Teancum? Apparently I was wrong. It's Teancum. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's 3 syllables. So yeah, it's some type of mixed drink he's named after. Teancum. Yeah. It's probably actually Teancum, but we can say it either way. Teancum. Yeah, whatever. Teancum. Sure. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. It's even funnier than Teancum because now we actually have teen and cum. Or tea and cum. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's start that verse over. Came to pass, already drank, that they were met by Teancum, who had slain Morianton and headed his people in the flight. Okay, and came to pass, drink again. Seriously, every single sentence starting with the came to pass. This is out of hand. That he headed Amalickiah also, and he was marching forth with his numerous army that he might take possession of the land bountiful and also the land northward. But behold, he met with a disappointment. There it is again. He's disappointed. By being repulsed by Teancum and his men, for they were great warriors. For every man of Teancum did exceed the Lamanites in their strength and in their skill of war, insomuch that they did gain advantage over the Lamanites. It's like whoever's writing this just stopped being creative about battle, He's just like, one side was better and they won. Oh, okay. Not as exciting as we've had in the past, but what are you going to do? And it came to pass, drink, they did harass them, insomuch that they did slay them even until it was dark. Why stop then? Keep killing. I'm just saying. And it came to pass, drink, that Teancum and his men did pitch their tents in the borders of the land bountiful. And Amalickiah did pitch his tents in the borders on the beach by the seashore, and after this manner they were driven. And it came to pass, drink, that when night had come, Teancum and his servants stole forth and went out by night, and went to the camp of Amalickiah, and behold, sleep had overpowered them because of their much fatigue, which was caused by the labors and heat of the day. So, what? Teancum's army had, air conditioners? How are they not also overpowered by fatigue and the heat of the day? I'm not sure. But somehow, only one side was affected by the climate. And it came to pass, drink, that Teancum stole privily into the tent of the king and put a javelin to his heart. Well, that's nice. Yeah, good holy man. You know, he could do the honorable thing and fight in battle. No, he snuck in, you know, like an assassin and assassinated the Amalickiah. That's great. That's wonderful. Usually you'll be rewarded in heaven. What a guy. And he did cause the death of the king immediately, that he did not awake his servants. Well, at least he's a skilled assassin, I'll tell you. And he returned again privily to his own camp. And behold, his men were asleep. And he awoke them and told them all the things he had done. He said, good news, everyone. I'm a cold-blooded murderer. What do you think of that? He's like, don't worry. Before you judge me, let's think back to Nephi. He was our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. And he did the same thing. Found somebody asleep and killed him. Yeah, at least I didn't chop his head off, you know. Anyway, he caused that his army should stand in readiness, lest the Lamanites had awakened and should come upon them. Okay, and thus ended the 25th year of the reign of the judges of the people of Nephi, and thus ended the days of Amalickiah. Well, Amalickiah, you had a good run. You really did. I mean, you were just swiping through the land of Nephi there, just taking everything. And turns out the one thing you didn't account for was what a sneaky little guy Teancum was. Yeah, you did not account for that. You didn't think he was a cold-blooded murderer. Turns out, he was. So, now you're dead. And that is the end of chapter 51, so we are heading into chapter 52 of Alma, which will never end. You know, I actually started looking. Almost half of this show has been Alma. Not quite half, but almost half. This book is long, isn't it? I'm telling you. But I have to admit, though, it is a pretty entertaining one. I mean, out of other, you compare Alma to, like, Second Nephi, forget it. Alma wins hands down, you know? All right. And now it came to pass, drink, that in the 26th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi, behold, when the Lamanites awoke on the first morning of the first month, New Year's Day, exciting, behold, they found Amalickiah was dead in his own tent. And they also saw that Teancum was ready to give them battle on the day. I'm telling you, I don't know what they're going to do now. I love that, like, in these old days, it's like when the general dies, they're just done. It's just like, we don't know what to do. It's like there's not a second in command that steps up. It says, no big deal. It's just one dude. I can take it from here. Apparently not. Well, we'll see what happens. And now, when the Lamanites saw this, they were affrighted. I've never heard that word. And they abandoned their design in marching into the land northward, and retreated with all their army into the city of Mulek, and sought protection in their fortifications. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is how I'm going down. General died, and everyone just went, we can't fight anymore. It's like, he's one dude. Calm down. You can still fight. Anyway. And it came to pass, drink, and the brother of Amalickiah was appointed king over the people. Well, he should have done that before. Maybe they could have actually fought and had a real battle. And his name was a moron. I swear to God, his name is a moron. Oh, that's awesome. It's probably like Amaron, but I don't care. When you put A-M-M-O-R-O-N, I'm calling you a moron. So there you go. At least for this episode, until somebody corrects me. Maybe no one should correct me, because a moron sounds great. Okay, thus King Amoron and the brother of King Amalickiah was appointed to reign in his stead. There you go. And it came to pass, drink, that he did command that his people should maintain those cities which they had taken by the shedding of blood, for they had not taken any cities save they had lost much blood. Okay. Before it sounded like they were just walking into these cities and taking them, but it sounds like they lost much blood doing it. I'm glad we got that detail now. Anyway. And now Teancum saw that Lamanites were determined to maintain those cities which they had taken, and those parts of the land which they had obtained possession of, and also seeing the enormity of their number, Teancum, and by the way, I know that sometimes I say Teancum and sometimes I say Teancum. It's a funny name. So it's just however it comes out when I say it, that's how it comes out. And sometimes it's going to be Teancum, and I might just say Teancum just for fun. I just love that name. Okay. So, and now Teancum saw the Lamanites were determined to maintain those cities which they had taken and those parts of the land which they had obtained possession of, and also seeing the enormity of their number, Teancum thought it was not expedient that he should attempt to attack them in their forts. Okay. So he kind of probably remembered what happens when the Lamanites tried to attack in 2 chapters ago, and they just got slaughtered, and he's like, that's not smart. So let's see what he does. But he kept his men round about as if making preparations for war, yea, drink, and he was preparing to defend himself against them by casting up walls round about and preparing places of resort. Okay. This sounds like he's actually laying siege to the city. Maybe. Didn't say specifically. Kept his men round about and then built a wall. And this is like what Julius Caesar did to the Gauls, right? I can't remember the name of the city, but it was like the final defeat of the Gauls is exactly what Caesar did. He, like, all of them kind of ran into their fortification. He built a wall around the city so no one could get in or out to starve them. And then he built another wall around his army even bigger so no one could attack him. He was genius. right? But again, to my point, every civilization ever has figured out that laying siege to a city is how you take it. But whatever. Sounds like maybe Teancum is doing this. Maybe. Not really sure. He may have just be out in the field somewhere building a wall, which won't be as smart, but we'll figure it out in a minute. And it came to pass drink that he kept thus preparing for war until Moroni had sent a large number of men to strengthen his army. I don't think he did. This wasn't a siege. He just basically hid. Not as fun. Okay, and Moroni also sent orders unto him that he should retain all the prisoners who fell into his hands. For as the Lamanites had taken many prisoners, that he should retain all the prisoners of the Lamanites as a ransom for those who the Lamanites had taken. Okay, do a little prisoner exchange coming up. And he also sent orders unto him that he should fortify the land Bountiful and secure the narrow pass which led into the land northward, lest the Lamanites should obtain that point and should have power to harass them on every side. Doesn't want to get trapped. Good, smart. And Moroni also sent unto him, desiring him that he would be faithful in maintaining that quarter of the land, that he would seek every opportunity to scourge the Lamanites in that quarter, as much as it was in his power, that perhaps he might take again by stratagem, or by some way, those cities which have been taken out of their hands, and that he would also fortify and strengthen those cities round about, which had not fallen into the hands of the Lamanites. All right, once again, been making this point a lot. Moroni is he should be in charge of a country's defense. No question. He's got that down. And even right here, he's looking at what's going on. He's like, okay, this is what we need to defend. You got to defend the narrow pass. You got to make sure that we don't want our prisoners getting hurt. He's smart when it comes to defense. But if he was a good attacking general, right? If he was a good general in the field, he would have been oh, that city where all the Lamanites are held up, just surround it. Don't let anyone in or out. The problem will solve itself. It is really that simple. That's all you have to do. Just sit there and wait. You know what I mean? So even Moroni has not figured that out yet. But again, he is good at defense. He's just terrible at offense. Anyway, okay. And he also said unto him, I would come unto you, but behold, the Lamanites are upon us in the borders of the land by the west sea, and behold, I go against them, therefore I cannot come unto you. So it sounds like all the Lamanites are not up here in these cities. Some of them are over at the west sea. I'm telling you, these Lamanites, they just came at all sides. This was a very coordinated attack, and quite successful one so far. I mean, they lost their king in the process, but, they got a new one, and his name's Amoron. How awesome is that? Okay. Now the king Amoron had departed out of the land of Zarahemla, and he had made known unto the queen concerning the death of his brother, and had gathered together a large number of men, and had marched forth against the Nephites on the borders by the west sea. Well, why did they throw in there that he told the queen? That was weird. It's like, oh, your husband's dead, so peace. It's weird. Anyway, whatever. And thus he was endeavoring to harass the Nephites, and to draw away a part of their forces to that part of the land. While he had commanded those whom he had left to possess the cities which he had taken, that they should also harass the Nephites on the borders by the east sea, and should take possession of their lands as much as it was in their power, according to the powers of their armies. Well, this is being set up for quite the long war. Both sides are getting the same orders. Listen, whatever you do, continue to just deplete their numbers. They're doing war of attrition here, right? And it's just keep harassing them, keep chopping them down. If you have an opportunity, take it. If you have an opportunity to take a city, take it. Both of them are getting the same orders. But it really does sound like this is going to come down to who can just kill the most people, and don't try to do it all at once. This is nice and slow. Just do a campaign of harassment, right? Yeah. And thus were the Nephites in those dangerous circumstances in the ending of the 26th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. Yeah, dangerous circumstances is a pretty gentle way of putting it. But behold, it came to pass drink in the 27th year of the reign of the judges, that Teancum, by the command of Moroni, who had established armies to protect the south and the west borders of the land, had begun his march towards the land Bountiful, that he might assist Teancum with his men in retaking the cities which they had lost. I kind of lost who's where. Moroni is somewhere, and it sounds like Teancum's on his way to join him. But I think is what it sounds like. Okay. And it came to pass drink that Teancum had received orders to make an attack upon the city Mulek, and retake it if it were possible. And it came to pass drink that Teancum made preparations to make an attack upon the city of Mulek, and marched forth with his army against the Lamanites. But he saw that it was impossible that he could overpower them while they were in their fortifications. Not impossible. I've told you 50 times now how to do it. Not impossible. Okay. Therefore he abandoned his designs and returned again to the city Bountiful to wait. Sorry. It's just amazing. It's amazing that no one has figured out how to take a defended city. It's just shocking to me that, whatever. I just can't get over it. He just shows up and he's like, oh, it's defended. Well, nothing we can do. Let's go. Okay. All right. Okay, he abandoned his designs, returned again to the city bountiful to wait for the coming of Moroni, that he might receive strength to his army. And it came to pass, strength, that Moroni did arrive with his army in the land bountiful, in the latter end of the 20th and 7th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. God, it took him a year to get there? Man, that's a slow-moving army. And in the commencement of the 28th year, Moroni and Teancum and many of their chief captains held a council of war, what they should do to cause the Lamanites to come out against them to battle. We'll see what they come up with. If they don't figure, alright, I'm reading. Or that it might be by some means flatter them out of their strongholds. Flatter them out? They're going to try and sweet talk them out? That they might gain advantage over them and take again the city of Mulek. And it came to pass, drink, that they sent embassies to the army of the Lamanites, which protected the city of Mulek, to their leader, whose name was Jacob, desiring him that he would come out with his armies to meet them upon the plains between the two cities. But behold, Jacob, who was a Zoramite, would not come out with his army to meet them upon the plains. That's genius. These guys, how dumb can they be? So it's like, okay, we have an idea. We don't want to attack this fortified position. We haven't the foggiest idea how to starve them out. So what we're going to do is send an emissary and say, hey, could you meet us out here? Can you leave all of your defenses behind and just meet us in the field to just fight? And Jacob, who apparently is, the current occupying governor of this city, said, no? How did they think that would work? They actually had to get a council to sit down and think up this plan. Morons. And their king isn't even named a moron. That's the other side. I don't know what they're doing. I guess Moroni kind of sounds like moron, but anyway, whatever. And it came to pass, drink, that Moroni, having no hopes of meeting them upon fair grounds, therefore he resolved upon a plan that he might decoy the Lamanites out of their strongholds. Therefore he caused that Teancum should take a small number of men and march down near the seashore. And Moroni and his army by night marched in the wilderness on the west of the city Mulek, and thus on the morrow, when the guards of the Lamanites had discovered Teancum, they ran and told it unto Jacob, their leader. And it came to pass, drink, that the armies of the Lamanites did march forth against Teancum, supposing by their numbers to overpower Teancum because of the smallness of his numbers. Seriously, why? Why would you leave this city? It makes no sense. Jacob, what are you doing? You've got a city. You can do as you please in there, fully defended. The enemy knows better than to get anywhere near it. And then you see, oh, look, there's a little army over there and we could kill them. Let's abandon our defensive positions. Why? Why would you? It makes no sense. All right, but they're doing it. All right, I'll start this verse over. All right, here we go. And as Teancum saw the armies of the Lamanites coming out against him, he began to retreat down by the seashore northward. And it came to pass, drink, that when the Lamanites saw that he began to flee, they took courage and pursued him with vigor. Yeah, get further and further away from your defensive positions. Geniuses. And while Teancum was thus leading away the Lamanites who were pursuing them in vain, behold, Moroni commanded that a part of his army who were with him should march forth into the city and take possession of it. I love that. They left the city completely undefended to go chase after this little army. It's annoying me how dumb this is. You know, it's annoying that how could you not come up with something better than this? Anyway, it's just so unbelievable. This would never happen in real life, you know? Never. Ever would this happen. No one is this bad at battle. All right. On both sides, by the way. They're both committing just the dumbest things. I need to get over it and just read. Let's just assume they just never went to war college and they just really, none of them know what they're doing. All right. So Moroni just said, let's just walk into the city and take it. There's no one there. And thus they did, and slew all those who had been left to protect the city, yea, drink, and all those who would not yield upon their weapons of war. There you go. Just killed them all. And thus Moroni had obtained possession of the city Mulek with part of his army, while he marched with the remainder to meet the Lamanites when they should return from the pursuit of Teancum. And it came to pass, drink, that the Lamanites did pursue Teancum until they came near the city Bountiful, and then they were met by Lehi and a small army which had been left to protect the city Bountiful. And now behold, when the chief captains of the Lamanites had beheld Lehi with his army coming against them, they fled in much confusion. Why? Lest perhaps they should not obtain the city Mulek before Lehi should overtake them. Okay. So, I think what happened was they're just chasing Teancum's army all around the land, and then finally they saw like Lehi's army coming at them, and they probably finally realized, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't have left our city undefended. I think that's what it's saying. I think. All right, let's see. For they were wearied because of their march, and the men of Lehi were fresh. Okay, that too. They were worn out. Lehi's men were looking nice and sprite. Now the Lamanites did not know that Moroni had been in the rear with his army, and they all feared all they feared was Lehi and his men. Now Lehi was not desirous to overtake them till they should meet Moroni and his army. They are in the middle. They don't. Bad idea. These guys got tricked hardcore. Now they're about to get slaughtered. And it came to pass, Drink, I almost feel bad for him, but I don't know. They deserve this. Jacob, I hope you're with them, because you deserve to die for making such a bad decision to leave your defended position. Okay, it came to pass before the Lamanites had, I'm pretty sure I already said Drink, but if I didn't on that one, then Drink. All right. Before the Lamanites had retreated far, they were surrounded by the Nephites, by the men of Moroni on one hand, by the men of Lehi on the other, and all whom were fresh and full of strength, but the Lamanites were wearied because of their long march. And Moroni commanded his men that they should fall upon them until they'd given up their weapons of war. Well, this took care of it. Moroni said, everyone attack on both sides, and there you go. And it came to pass, Drink, that Jacob, being their leader, being also a Zoramite, and having an unconquerable spirit, he led the Lamanites forth to battle with exceeding fury against Moroni. Okay, so Jacob the Zoramite's like, I'm not laying down my sword. Everyone to the death. Oh! And then they just went into battle. All right, Moroni being in their course of march, therefore Jacob was determined to slay them and cut his way through the city of Mulek. But behold, Moroni and his men were more powerful. Therefore, they did not give way before the Lamanites. All right. So it doesn't matter how pissed off Jacob the Zoramite is. It doesn't sound like his army is winning. And it came to pass, Drink, that they fought on both hands with exceeding fury, and there were many slain on both sides. Yea, Drink, and Moroni was wounded, and Jacob was killed. Oh, Moroni got a little flesh wound there, and Jacob dead. Yeah, he's dead. He deserved it. Sorry, Jacob. That was the dumbest thing I've ever. That was dumber than people not knowing how to lay siege to a city. That you had its defensive position. Enemy had no idea what to do about it. They were so out of options, they were sending emissaries in to say, like, can you come out and just fight out here? I mean, it was that, you had it made that much, and you left it for no reason. So sorry, Jacob, but that's what you get. Sorry. And Lehi pressed upon their rear with such fury with his strong men, and the Lamanites in the rear delivered up their weapons of war, and the remainder of them, being much confused, knew not whither to go or to strike. Wow, so they're like, we don't know whether to run or to fight, so we're just going to drop our weapons, I guess. Now Moroni, seeing their confusion, he said unto them, if you will bring forth your weapons of war and deliver them up, behold, we will forbear shedding your blood. I would hope. So Moroni's like, hey, if you surrender, we won't kill you. Well, isn't that, I would expect that. As opposed to when they surrender and you kill them? I suppose Moroni, don't put anything past him. He's done it before. And it came to pass, Drink, and when the Lamanites had heard these words, their chief captains, all those who were not slain, came forth and threw down their weapons of war at the feet of Moroni, and also they commanded their men that they should do the same. But behold, there were many that would not, and those who would not deliver up their swords were taken and bound, and their weapons of war were taken from them, and they were compelled to march with their brethren forth into the land bountiful. That's awesome. So it's like, throw down your weapons, and they're like, I refuse. It's like, okay, I'll take your weapon and tie you up. That's smart. Might as well just throw them down. Okay. And now the number of prisoners who were taken exceeded more than the number of those who had been slain. Yea, Drink, more than those who had been slain on both sides. Wow, that's interesting. They got tons of prisoners. It sounded like they were a pretty large force. They probably could have, kept fighting. I don't know why they stopped if they had that many people left. I don't know. Weird. What are you going to do? Oh, man, we're at this point now. Unless this chapter is only like 2 or 3 pages. It's another, I don't think I can get through it. Guys, I keep doing this to you. These chapters, like, they're just a little too long. It's like I try to go about an hour, but my rule is like, I don't want it to go over an hour. And so if it gets close, then I'm like, I think I gotta stop. And I think we're at that point where it's just, we would go way over an hour if I did another chapter. So once again, I'm only doing 2 chapters. It's gonna take forever to get through Alma, but it is what it is. All right, but as promised, I'm going to leave a few voicemails at the end to just because let you guys hear the voice of the Mimos. And but actually, before we do that, so it's been a long time since I've done this, and I just apologize that I haven't. But Prophet Jeremy, when he became a prophet, I said, hey, if you want me to do anything for you, because when you reach prophet level, I kind of say like, hey, I'll plug whatever you want me to plug. What do you want? And he actually gave me a list of things that he said, hey, I think these are shows worth checking out. And so we haven't done a Prophet Jeremy recommendation in a while. And so we're going to do one right now. So Prophet Jeremy recommends the podcast Feminine Mormon Housewives. Now, I myself have not listened to it. Once again, you guys know I intentionally avoid like Mormon shows because I just don't want spoilers. So I've definitely heard of the show. I'm aware of the show. And one of the reasons I'm aware of it, I don't know why this happens. But on iTunes rankings, which by the way is a mystery to me how they work, I'll go from like 65th to 2nd to 70th to fifth. It's just crazy. They bounce all around all the time, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. But anyway, it does seem that Feminine Mormon Housewives is always like right next to me. Like we're always like neck and neck. So we're either like 68 and 67 or we're 4 and 5. Like so we're somehow coupled in the iTunes algorithm or whatever. So I see them all the time. Haven't listened though. But Prophet Jeremy says this is a good one to check out. And so I will put a link to that show on this week's show notes. So yeah. All right. Well, this was another fun episode. I'm sorry I got so upset with the poor battle tactics going on in this reading. That was unforgivable. How stupid they were being. Really, it was just awful. Anyway, I'll try not to harp on it too much. But that is the end of episode 51. And so when you hear from me again, I will have been to Skepticon and have all these great stories to tell, I hope. And and once again, well, I guess I can't say now. If you're going to be there, let me know, because I will have already been there. So, okay. Hopefully, when I get back and record the next episode, I'll tell you about all of the MIMOs that I met. That should be fun. Hopefully that's what happens. Okay, so for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll talk to you soon. And don't hang up, though. Don't end, because we have a few voicemails to listen to as soon as I'm done talking, which is right now. So goodbye.
Hey, David, this is Naomi, a real MIMO who recently signed up to support the show. I'm just calling to say how fantastic I think the show is. I really enjoy it. I'm England and I'm studying religions, and I've never been a Mormon or really known very much about Mormonism because it's a very American thing. But because I study religions, I came across the Book of Mormon via the Religion podcast because I often need a break from religion with a bit of a laugh about it. And my Mormon is perfect when I come home from studying all day and I've taken everything a bit too seriously. And I sit down and turn on my Book of Mormon and have a glass of wine, and every time you say, yeah, I drink. And, it's the perfect antidote to someone who studies religion for a living. Thank you very much for the Book of Mormon and for the entertainment it provides. I'm also really glad to be supporting the charity, which I think is a really good thing. So very good to talk to you. Take care. Bye.
David. This is David Dunn calling from the West Coast of the United States, rainy Olympia, Washington. I wanted to thank you for the My Book of Mormon podcast. I have loved hearing both the stories of the Book of Mormon again and your unique take on them. And thank you for setting up the voicemail line. I hadn't particularly felt the need to call or write. I just feel mildly enjoying from the shadows the good work you're doing. But since you went to the trouble to set up a voicemail line and specifically asked for people to call in, I thought I should. I am technically an ex-Mo. I was Mormon for about a 2-year period between the ages of 13 and 15. And so I don't know how representative my experience on the inside of the religion was. I grew up in the Salt Lake Valley, surrounded by Mormons, but my parents were not. And in some ways, I think, my rebellion against my parents was, this decision to go even more straight-laced and join the Mormon Church. I knew in broad strokes the organization and the doctrines and tenets and of the religion and of the culture, which it's more than a religion, it's a culture. But had grown up, in Mormon land, but not of Mormon land. And yeah, even as a 14-year-old, I very rapidly, it was like, this is weird, and this isn't right, and this doesn't seem, this is not how religion should be. A lot of doctrinal questions, which I'm not going to spoiler for you. I fully intend to continue listening once you get to the Doctrine and Covenants, and the related Mormon scripture. So, thank you so much for all you do, and I hope you keep the voicemail line. Thanks.
This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.